What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. And tonight, we're going to be going through some New York Giants mock drafts. So, obviously, the Giants got a little bit hot towards the end of this past season under first-year head coach Joe Judge. The year didn't end the way they wanted it to. They ended up losing the division there, maybe partially because of the Philadelphia Eagles and some interesting quarterback decisions by Doug Peterson the following week of the season. But they still lost the division, and they certainly didn't play well enough to make the playoffs. Let's put it that way. They didn't have a winning record. They didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, regardless of how hot they were for a period of time, regardless of what happened to Daniel Jones with the injuries and all that kind of stuff. They didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. But they have an opportunity to fix some of that this offseason, and I think that begins with the draft. Obviously, free agency will play its role as well, but I think the draft is a huge part of how teams are going to fix their rosters this offseason, especially with the cap being so interesting. They're going to have about $180 million to $181 million in cap space for every team this year, which is better than like the $175 million they originally projected, but it's not significantly better, obviously. And a lot of teams, when they're constructing or signing extensions to, or giving out extensions to players, they believe the cap's going to go up year to year, and they project for that in the future when they get out these deals. So they understand that a deal you give out to a quarterback in 2015, by the time it comes around to 2020, that deal that at the time might have been the third highest for quarterbacks is might be the 12th highest for quarterbacks. So you look at stuff like that, and you plot ahead when you're signing these contracts, you do not expect your salary cap to go down or to remain stagnant year to year, which is something that I'm sure has caught teams off guard over the past 12 months or so. So I think the draft this year is going to play an even bigger role than we ordinarily see because there's not going to be as large of a free agent market as there usually is. And we saw that a little bit this past season, guys like Jadeveon Clowney trying to get a lot of money. And usually I think somebody would have paid Jadeveon Clowney a ridiculous amount of money because it would have been ridiculous what he was asking for. But we didn't see that happen. So I think free agency is going to be similar this year where we're going to see some guys ask for high value contracts and just not get them, or maybe even remain on the market for longer than ordinarily would. But anyways, enough of my blabbering. Let's get into the mock draft. So we're going to start this up. And I have signed up for the premium content from the Draft Network, which is obviously what we're doing the simulation from. So I can do trades, I can pause the draft, I can do all that kind of stuff. For this first mock, we're not going to do trades. So we're just going to hold off the trades here. For this first one, we'll get those going in the second and third mock. Usually I can do about 3 mocks in an hour when I'm recording. When I'm not recording, I can do it much quicker, obviously. But when I'm recording, I feel like I need to explain everything. It takes a little more time. And immediately we have an little interesting conundrum here in the New York Giants. I'm going to pull up their depth chart here for 1 second to make sure I'm not screwing this up. Kyle Pitts to me seems like a fairly obvious selection here, even though if we look at the wide receivers that are on the board. Let's go with wide receiver. I'm sure there's going to be a fair amount. Oh, no, wait, the 3 are gone already. Wow. 3 in the top 4? What, 4 in the top 7? Even Rashad Bateman went 7 to Detroit. All right, I haven't seen that happen before. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen that happen in the past, but all right, so that's interesting. So Kyle Pitts is your top receiving option on the board, which I don't hate. And the argument of don't take Kyle Pitts because you already have a tight end on the roster, yeah, that's so dumb. It's so old. The idea that you can't draft a position just because you already have someone playing that position on your roster, especially when it's a tight end, where guys like Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts are basically larger wide receivers at this point. They're receiving tight ends, although they're decent in blocking. Evan Ingram's gotten better as a blocker the past couple of years, and Kyle Pitts is surprisingly good at blocking in the running game. The idea that you can't have both those guys, I mean, you can play one in the slot if you really want to. You can play them out. Heck, you can play Pitts outside, and he'll be a mismatch for most corners. So I think taking Kyle Pitts here makes a lot of sense. Looking at the tackles, I think they took Matt Pert last year, I'm pretty sure. You have Cameron Fleming. I think he's going to hit free agency. You got Andrew Thomas at left tackle, even though he had a decent rookie year. He turned it around towards the middle part of the season, but the first half wasn't really that great. And you have Nate Solder coming back after he opted out for this past season. So it's a tackle position from New York. I'm not going to lie. It's just a mess. I think you could see them take a tackler. If Penei Sewell is available at number 11, it'd be pretty hard to pass up on that guy. And you could, I don't know, switch one of them to right tackle, and somehow you'll find a way to deal with Nate Solder. I presume you'll probably try to trade him, get rid of him at some point, even though his contract is it's going to be a pain to deal with. But when you're looking at the board right here, someone with the value of Penei Sewell, who would be the top tackle off the board here, so no tackle is gone yet. it'd be very hard to not take Penei Sewell in this position. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to deal with the aftermath of the whole tackle fallout from all the guys you've taken in recent history, all the guys you've had in recent history, and how you might have to admit defeat on some of them. But yeah, I'm not going to take Penei Sewell, but I think that would be, I mean, it really would be 50-50 between him and Kyle Pitts in this kind of area. Looking at the other guys, maybe like Kwity Paye. Makes some sense here for the edge rusher, especially if you're going to lose someone like Leonard Williams or maybe even Dalvin Tomlinson as well this offseason. Micah Parsons is there, even though you had Blake Martinez had arguably his best year of his career for you this past season. And the interior offensive line, guys like Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be a very good outline. You can basically play almost everywhere. Is available. But you got Zeitler and you got Will Hernandez. I'm gonna take Kyle Pitts here, but again, if Penei Sewell is available at 11, I think it would be very hard to pass up on that. But I'm gonna do it anyways. All right, Kyle Pitts at 11. And just a reminder, like I said, I'm not doing any trades this first mock. I'm just gonna do it straight up, and then next 2 or 3, depending on how much energy I have and how much time we have, I'll include trades at that point. Travis Etienne at 43 is very tempting, but obviously it doesn't make any sense in this situation because of Saquon Barkley. Got Eichenberg, Alex Leatherwood. There are a lot of really good players here. But you took Xavier McKinney this past season, and you've got him, Logan Ryan, and Jabril Peppers on your roster right now. I think Logan Ryan's there for multiple years. I'm going to look at that real quickly. I'm pretty sure Logan Ryan's not a free agent, even though I know he's a recent acquisition. Yeah, it looks like a 3-year deal for him. So at this point, I mean, you don't need a safety. Even though taking Trevon here would be an excellent value pickup, and most teams could use that help. The question here is, do you go center? Your center is Nick Gates. It's not. I think he was an undrafted free agent. This is for maybe his first or second full year as a starter for them. If you're talking about really upgrading this offensive line, I think you really are talking about upgrading the offensive line at this point. Landon Dickerson would make a lot of sense to me here. Wide receivers, I know you need wide receiver help. You just need someone else out there on the outside. You took Kyle Pitts already, so you have a little more help in that way. But you don't have a true number 1. You're not going to find true number 1 in this draft this late. I'm just going to be honest with you. There are maybe 4, maybe 5 receivers worthy of being called true number 1s. None of them are on the board here. I know a lot of people are fans of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think he's the huge difference maker. I think he's just the number 2. People like Rondell Moore. I'm not a huge fan of Rondell Moore. I think he's actually probably like the 10th best receiver in this draft class. This is not a great wide receiver draft class, by the way. There's going to be 4 guys, maybe 5 if you stretch it, who are worthy of first-round picks. But I really think there's a huge drop-off after the top 3 anyways. So the wide receiver class, I know you need wide receiver help in New York if you're in New York, but it just doesn't make sense to me. There's not enough guys here. And they're not talented enough to justify taking in the second round. Someone like Basham would be interesting, but the Giants play a very weird defensive front. All right, so defensive tackle, nose tackle, defensive end, and then you get 4 linebackers. So I don't think Basham would fit the 3-4. I think 4-3 would be a very interesting fit for him. I think he would work well in that front, but 3-4 probably not the best for him. No help at linebacker, corner. These guys, I like Greg Newsome. I'm at that, but he's got a lot of injury concerns. And if we're being realistic, I mean, 3rd round kind of guy, not really a 2nd round one. And corner is an area you could use some help in for an upgrade if you're in New York. Tackle, coming back to the tackle spot. I know you got Nate Solder, like I said, coming back. Andrew Thompson. It's just really a question of what do you do with Nate Solder? Because if you're bringing Nate Solder back in, and you're sliding him, and you're paying him a lot of money. But if he comes back and you play him at right tackle, or you do something with it, it's him and Andrew Thomas somehow are your starting tackles, that changes a lot of things. But if you're moving on from him, and your right tackle is going to be Matt Hurt, then I think absolutely you take a shot on a guy like an Alex Leatherwood or Dylan. Oh boy, last names again. Dylan Randuns. I think that's it has to be Randuns, right? But I would take a shot on one of those guys. I wouldn't take Eichenberg here because Eichenberg is more of a pure left tackle, in my opinion. I don't think he really has the ability to move almost anywhere else on the line. But I don't know. If you're New York, I would really look at those. I would really look at spot. Tight end, we don't need. We took one of them already in the first round. Running back's not important because we got Saquon Barkley. Quarterback doesn't make any sense to take any of those guys at this point. They're not going to be an upgrade from Daniel Jones. Looking at the best guys available, this is bad. I'm still going to take center. I'm going to take Landon Dickerson. I know they have Creed Humphrey ranked a little higher. I like Landon Dickerson quite a bit. So I'm going to take him. Right-handed center versus left-handed center, Creed Humphrey. Landon Dickerson's coming on, join the team. Some interior offensive line help. And hopefully we get a linebacker or wide receiver in the third round. And that's probably, to be fair, that's a reach for Landon Dickerson, in my opinion. I think he could go more in towards the 50s or maybe towards the early 60s. The issue in this situation just is needs from New York just don't line up over the board. Because the best players available are all in spots that New York has already filled in. This is the guy I want. I wanted Jabril Cox, and he's gone. That's who I was holding out for in the third round. So that's going to make life a lot more difficult. Oh, jeez. All right. What do we got? Quincy Roche, I think the issue with him is, the size, 243 pounds. So maybe that would work in a 3-4 defensive front like New York runs. I could see why that would work. But again, I mean, there's so many ways that could go wrong because he's not built like a defensive end or a true edge rusher. I mean, I think you want some guy in the 260s almost for that kind of. Right? But Kyler Fackrell is not team this year. 245 edge rusher for them, outside linebacker, 4 sacks. I mean, 245. What did I say it was again? 245 versus Quincy Roche in the third round, 243. Yeah, that's probably worth it. But the question is going to be how well does he cover? You know, are you going to be able to use him as anything other than a pure pass rusher outside linebacker? Probably not. I think almost more like a defensive end in college. So at this point, I think you can kiss the ability to use him as a versatile linebacker kind of goodbye. Again, the best players available. Elijah Molden's on the board. That's a really good slot corner. Do you really want to use a third-round pick on a slot corner? I don't know. He's a good player. He's a really good player. So it's the player versus the position is kind of the difficulty here. And wide receiver is still something we have to look. Who's the wide receivers on the board at this point? I'm going to go one more round. I'm going to see if we can go one more round. If I can get, Sage Surratt's not as fast as I like him to be, but if I can get Daz Newsome or De'Ami Brown from North Carolina next round, I will be very happy. And I think that would be the ideal spot. Because I don't think Amari Rodgers, I like Amari Rodgers a lot. I went to Clemson, but third round is a little bit of a reach for him. I think fourth round is a much better fit for Amari Rodgers. So I'm not going to be the guy to take him right here. Sean Wade, I don't have much faith in at this point. Elijah Molden is still very tempting. I'm going to end up taking Quincy Roche here and see how we can turn this out. Carmen Jackson is also on the board, by the way. Carmen Jackson's a guy who I believe in. I have some faith in this man, but I don't know. Blindside protector, he would have to be a right tackle, in my opinion, in the NFL. I don't think he's good enough to be left tackle, or at least a starting left tackle right out of the gate. And New York will have some needs at right tackle eventually moving forward, but you've invested enough in that spot in the last couple of years already. So Quincy Roche, edge rusher. And again, he's a decent edge rusher. He's got some polish on him. So I do think that's an upside draft pick for a third round selection. But we've seen similar players go in the third round and flame out. We've seen similar guys go in the second round and flame out. So I am a little worried about how he'll transition. Coming up here, pick 115. All right, let's see what we can do here. Linebacker still something we need. Wide receiver, corner. There are a lot of needs that just didn't line up well this draft board in the first round. I think the trading is going to make this a lot easier. And right away, I'm looking at De'Ami Brown here, sitting 109 with the projection. It's 115. That's a perfect fit. And we can't wait now because we don't take a receiver now. There's not going to be a guy left. Darius Williams is out there. He's a guy who I like. I like to pick in these mocks. He just lines up very well with the positioning. And linebackers very picked over at this point. I'm not going to worry about linebacker for this round. It just doesn't make sense. The best players available, De'Ami Brown sitting right there. Bunch of edge rushers, but we already got one of those. Jamie Newman would be an interesting person to take a shot at in the fourth round, especially when you got Daniel Jones, who's been injured and is up and down. Trey Sermon would be an interesting guy for a backup running back behind Saquon Barkley because you're losing Wayne Gallman, who's very good, very serviceable this past year. Deion Lewis and Alfred Morris are also free agents. But I think taking a backup linebacker in the fourth round when you could get someone who could potentially be a starting safety, even though you don't need safeties, there are potentially starting safeties down here. Guys like Rashad Weaver at the edge, or guys like De'Ami Brown, Daz Newsome, who I have a lot of faith in. But that's your wide receiver. That's the wide receiver help you need if you're New York. And you're able to do that in the fourth round instead of wasting a first or second round pick on wide receivers who were not arguably that much better. When are we picking again? I should have looked at the numbers for all the picks going forward, but I didn't before the draft. I like to be surprised a little bit and see Daz Newsome finally goes off the board. All right, round 6. This might be a quick mock. These might be some quick mocks, actually, because they don't have a ton of picks from the looks of it. Well, they have 2 here very close. I see 197's coming up for us. All right. Wow, this is picked over. Huh. Yeah, so corner is not going to be an issue that we're going to be able to fix this draft. Neither is linebacker. Yeah, we're not going to be able to fix either of those spots. I'm tempted to take a running back here. There are good running backs left on the board, and like I said, they're going to need a new backup running back unless they re-sign Wayne Gallman, which I'd be in favor of them doing, frankly, because Saquon Barkley's been hurt the past 2 years. Gallman's proven he's been a quality backup running back who can have some good breakout games. So I wouldn't put it beyond them re-signing Wayne Gallman. I would love it if they did. Like I said, I went to Clemson, so did Wayne Gallman. It'd be an epic to see him get re-signed there in New York, get to stick around. But again, that happening, I think that's pretty low chance though, because I think Gallman will get better offers, or people will give him more money in free agency than what New York is probably going to be willing to pay him to be a backup. So the question is Jarrett Patterson or Khalil Herbert. Patterson's obviously the guy who had, I think it was multiple 200-yard rushing games, or maybe even a 300-yard rushing game for Buffalo in college. And Herbert, Virginia Tech product, he was consistent, had a bit of a breakout year this past season. He's been in Kansas for a while. That's where he was before Virginia Tech. Shows that Virginia Tech has one really good year this past season, 7.6 yards per carry, over 1,100 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. I'm a fan, but he's a little small, 5'9", 205. If I recall, Jarrett Patterson is not much bigger. I'm looking at offensive line. I was going to say, I lied. 6'4", 305. That's definitely not the guy I'm looking at right now. How do I spell his name wrong? I put 2 R's instead of 1. 5'9", 195. So he's even smaller. Yeah. He ran through the MAC the past couple of years. 3 consecutive seasons with over 1,000 yards. He had over 1,000 yards this past season with only 6 games and 19 rushing touchdowns. So Patterson's going to be the favorite pick because of the production. I think Khalil Herbert, in my opinion, has the better size. I know it's only one breakout season, so that's concerning. It's the smaller running back who dominated lesser competition versus the guy who transferred and had one really good season. And he just looks better, though. He's got the more NFL-ready body. I'm talking all about running backs, but I think actually Elijah Griffin probably is the pick here. I don't know why I was wasting all that time, but I think outside only corner, I'd be willing to take that here. I'd be willing to take Elijah Griffin here and hope that one of the running backs is still available. Yeah, I mean, Khalil Herbert was the one I wanted, but I'll take Jarrett Patterson here. I'm not going to complain. 6 rounds, not. Let's be honest. How many 6th-round picks actually go on to be key contributors to their franchises? You can probably name some historical examples, but very few do it on a consistent basis. So using a 6th-round pick on Jarrett Patterson is not considered to be a good investment, even if it isn't filling the biggest area of need. I still wish they had done more for the linebackers, but they have most of the linebackers coming back next year, at least the inside guys. And we already took Quincy Roche to be the edge rusher who can replace that collar factual kind of player. So I guess linebacker was dealt with in the same way the edge was dealt with in this one pick altogether, even though that probably wasn't the cleanest decision. All right, so 6 total selections. I think you have potentially 4 starters here. Kyle Pitts, obviously, Landon Dickerson at center, but I think he could play guard as well. He's a good enough player. I think he could play guard. Now, should he? I don't know. That's up for NFL teams to decide. But I think he could play guard. Quincy Roche will probably be a star at outside linebacker, replacing Jabal Sheard and Collar Fackrell, who are hitting free agency. So you have a potential star there, although he might be more of a rotational guy. De'Ami Brown should see snaps immediately based on the state of the wide receiver core, whereas Dante Pettis, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate. I think you really want to work De'Ami Brown in there pretty quickly. Elijah Griffin, I mean, you're taking some swings here in the 6th round. Elijah Griffin could probably see some starting time if injuries kick in. Obviously, if you're in New York, you have James Bradbury as your star corner, and after that, it's a little bit of everything kind of mixed in. So there's potential later for Elijah Griffin to see some significant playing time, but again, that all depends on him and potentially injuries. And Jarrett Patterson, you'd be stepping into a backup running back position along with Saquon Barkley, and they have Elijah Penny also on the roster. I think Patterson had great protection. We're going to see if that translates or not to the NFL. Because if it doesn't translate, then it doesn't really matter. But you got him in the 6th round. It's not a huge risk to do something like that. All right. Let's run it back. Start a new mock. Where are the Giants? Well, I'm not being stupid right now. There they are. 7 rounds. Fast. And we're starting doing trades now. Trades will shake this up quite a bit if you're in New York. I'm going to try to avoid trading picks in future drafts because that feels like cheating a little bit. But if it's on the board or if it's what I have to do, I will consider it. All right, so 20. No, that's not enough. That's a pretty good haul. You do go all the way back to 23, which is a huge drop early in the draft. It's a huge risk to go back that far. So the Jets are the best offer on the board here, is what we're saying. Well, I don't know. The Bears are offering a 2nd as well. The 2nd's pretty valuable. Well, let's see if I can counteroffer this. Let's see what I can do about this. If I throw up a 4th, can I get a 5th and a 6th? That 4th is pretty high. So now I have a huge drop off there. Time to my 6th. So if I put up my 6th, can I get a 5th? I get 6 as well. I can get that. Can I get this? Is this broken? Okay. I can get a significant amount of picks if I do that. If I put this up, can I do it here? No, obviously not. All right. Well, let's take all of this, I guess. Yeah, it looks like it's going to allow this. All right. Well, we stole all their late round draft picks, and they're willing to give us 14 for a. Let's counter off here. So I don't know who's on the board right now, because this is the conundrum I ran into last time. I don't know who's on the board, so it makes it a little difficult for me to decide on these kind of trades. But they're offering me 14 for 20 and a 3rd. How about 14 for 20 and a 4th? They're willing to take that. They have a ton of picks too, so let me see if I can rob them here. If I'm getting my 4th, I would like a 4th in return. I would like to walk away with a 4th round pick here. And I'll take a 7th as well. Let me put up a 6th. Let me try to get this 6th here. If I put up my fifth, we'll swap fifths. To make it a little more even, we'll swap sixth again. And we'll try to run with this. So I'm giving it my first, fourth, fifth, and 2 6 for a first, fourth, fifth, 2 6 and 7. Oh yeah, whatever. Let's go over it. Let's see it. We're gonna go up 6 spots here. But we're actually adding more. We're actually adding more draft picks to our arsenal here. All right, that was ridiculous, but we're on the board. Kyle Pitts, son of a gun. It's Kyle Pitts all over again. Micah Parsons, we don't really need him with Blake Martinez in the middle. The way they run the scheme with 3-4, I don't think Parsons would. I mean, Parsons would have to take over Blake Martinez's spot almost entirely, unless you want to play him at weak side linebacker where Lorenzo Carter is currently. But I don't think you want to take Parsons just to not play him as many snaps as you would play an inside linebacker. All right, so this trade-up might have actually backfired for us. Because it's Kyle Pitts again. And I do understand Kyle Pitts is the ideal pick here, but I think making the same pick over and over again is kind of boring. There are a lot of good players on the board that I like here. I like Zayvon Collins quite a bit. I just don't think that the fit would be a little weird to some degree. Although if I think about it, you could play him on the like an outside linebacker, weak side linebacker. There's a lot of different roles you can line up in because you have 4 linebacker spots. There's a lot of different places you could put someone like Zayvon Collins here if you want to move him around. The issue is getting down to an area where taking Zayvon Collins, I can justify that. So, how low can I go to get Zayvon Collins? I would have to trade back. If I trade back to 21, I think I can get Zayvon Collins. Although 18, the Dolphins are sitting there. That's kind of worrisome. If I trade back and don't get him, then I'm an absolute fool. The Raiders are also potentially an issue. Let's see if we can trade back with the Colts. This is going to be interesting. I'll give 1. Give me that. I'll give you a 7th and a 6th. You do that. 6th and 5th. You get to move up quite a few spots here, and that's worth a lot of value. And 4th is 125 for them. Let's see if I can get their 4th. Because that moves me up a couple spots. So we're trading back, trying to accumulate as many draft picks as possible here later in the rounds to fill out all the needs. Micah Parsons, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The Giants are calling off. No, the Vikings are offering 20. So we need to move up 1 spot. I don't know why I would do that. All right. I want to make a pick here. I really do want to make a pick at this point. I've kind of put up enough. I've moved back quite a few times at this point. So I do want to make a selection. Zayvon Collins on the board. I'm at pick 21. I've got a lot of extra draft capital. I understand wide receiver is still an area of need. And I passed up Rashad Bateman earlier. I think that would have been a little early for Bateman where we were. And I do really like Zayvon Collins. And there are a lot of spots you can line him up in New York's defense. So I feel like Zayvon Collins here, it's a fun pick. It's a fun pick for me. So Zayvon Collins at 21. All right, they're offering me 31 for a second rounder. So offering me to move up a couple spots. Let me counter offer this just so I can have an opportunity to look at what they're giving me. They want a 5th and a 2nd to go up in 1st. I would still have a 2nd at that point. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Can I give him 52 instead of 43, though? And trick this. This wouldn't work in real life, but trick it up a little bit. Then they're taking a 5th rounder from 2023. I'm going to remove that and just give him a a 6th rounder from this year. Because like I said, I don't want a 7th rounder. That works too. But I don't want to use picks from future rounds too much in the simulations. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense in real life, obviously. Not that clearly this is so realistic. Sometimes it isn't, but it's just fun to mess around with. Can I put this 5th-round pick in for that one? Yeah. All right. So 1 or 2. So I'm giving 3 picks here to go back up a couple spots, and I'll pick again at 43, and then not pick again until 75. So there's gonna be a bit of a drop off there where I might want to trade back up and trade back in. But we have the picks now to do it. We have the ammo because we traded back early on. Ooh, I'm actually glad I did this. All right, there's a few edge rushers here, interior defensive linemen. All right, I'm actually Asante Samuel Jr. Okay, I like this. We went center last time. I don't think we're going to do that again. I don't like to make the same picks over and over too much. So we're going to try to shake it up a little bit. Could you? No, we don't really need to at this point because we do have Evan Ingram. And this is not enough of an upgrade to justify getting 2 tight ends and trying to move 2 tight end sets on offense. All right. I have a good idea of who's on the board at this point. I think it's got to be one of the edge rushers. I know we took Zeman Collins the idea that we can line him up as an edge rusher occasionally, but I think it's got but also Christian Barmore and Asante Samuel Jr. With Asante Samuel Jr., the issue is the size. He might just be a slot corner, so taking him this high is a little early. We do have another pick coming up here later in the 2nd round. If Samuel Jr. is on the board at that point, which he won't be, but if he was, I think that'd be an ideal time to take him. Looking at someone Christian Barmore, I've looked at him for like the Tampa fit in Tampa Bay. Starting 3 technique. I think I don't know if he would fit though. I mean, it's difficult because he was productive in college. The issue becomes there's a lot of questions about him. And I just don't know how it's not a 4-3 we're talking about. We're talking about a 3-4. So is he going to play like a Leonard Williams kind of role? Is he going to be able to do that? I don't know. I don't think he's fitting a defensive tackle, defensive end hybrid kind of situation here. Someone like Gregory Rousseau, I'm really intrigued by this guy just because he has the 1 year of great production. I know there's a lot of criticism that he's not fully developed, where Phillips has more of a developed pass rush arsenal, but like concussions are a huge red flag. He actually retired from college football at one point because of concussions and came back. So I'm going to take Rousseau here. He's a developmental kind of guy. There's still some stuff to work with, but he's like, 6? It says 6'5" here. I'm pretty sure he was listed as taller on previous things I've looked at. But he's lengthy. He's got good size, good build. Could add a little more, I guess, functional strength, but picking him here helps the edge. Who's the wide receivers again? I don't think I've really took a shot at wide receivers. Rondell Moore. It's the same guy I talked about last round who really aren't worth taking at this point. And corner-wise, there's a drop-off. Oh, no, there's Eric Stokes on the board too and Aaron Robinson. So maybe I'll get a shot at one of those guys later on. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Go Rousseau there. All right, another trade up. This would get me back to 35 where I could get Asante Samuel Jr., I believe, if I really want to. Let me counter offer here. All right, they don't want to do that. But if I get this, I will give you this. Really? Okay. All right. I can move up if I do that. They don't want to do that. All right. They only want this specific trade option with nothing else attached. All right. So we're forfeiting a 6th rounder, but we are going to get to move up a decent number of spots to the point where we'll control a lot more that's going on the board by doing this than if we just stayed put. So I'll take this offer. Oh, no, Asante Samuel Jr. just went. All right, well, that narrows down what we can do here significantly. Jabril Cox is a guy who I really want to keep an eye on towards the top of the 3rd round if at all possible. Who else is there? Barmore's still out there, but again, he's a 3 tech guy. I don't really know how a 3-tech would work in a 3-4. And that might just be my football IQ is not high enough to the point where I can understand that, but I just don't think that would work fantastic. Wide receivers, same wide receivers, like I said, so no point there. But we could get the center here, though. This is what we could do. We could get the center. We could also get I like Greg Newsom the most of the guys on the board at corner. And that's the problem, because we can't get everything we want here. Nick Gates, I mean, I don't know how, if I was more tuned into like the New York Giants and the New York meetup, would understand much more how significant Gates is to the current team and whether or not they think he's replaceable or not. Because I look at him, I look at his production, look at his PFF grade, and I think he's kind of replaceable. But maybe not everyone feels that way. There's also Wyatt Davis on the board at guard, but they have Kevin Zeitler. They have Will Hernandez. They really don't really need that. And they picked up Shane Lemieux last year, so I think that's a big issue for them. I usually don't like drafting the same guys back to back, but I'm gonna take Landon Dickerson here. Eric Stokes is off the board. And Robertson's off the board. Greg Newsom's off. I was too late. I was going to try to trade back up, but they've moved off the board. Oh, that sucks. Missed down on the corner. It's not bad, though. I got a starter. I mean, it's not like I did anything wrong in the first day. I just wanted to do more. But let me see if I can get to pick. I want to see if I can get to pick 64. Or 63, but maybe I could even. Well, I don't know about that. It would take quite a bit to sway them into doing that kind of deal. All right, let's go 63. See if we can get there. If we can get to 63, I think we feel pretty good about getting Jabril Cox. Yeah. $10 spots for a fifth for I don't know. That's a lot asking for a lot. I can do this. So 5th and 6th for 6th and 7th, and we move up 10 spots. That's probably not the best deal. It really isn't the best deal. I'm not in love with that. If I could get a 4th rounder and get 2 fourths, I'd feel pretty good. Yeah, all right. So we're on the board. Best players available. Mac Jones is on the board. I don't care. Wide receiver is going to be an issue still. Corner is an issue. Tight end. I don't really feel like I need to address tight end here that badly. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, wait. I already took I keep talking about taking Jabril Cox, but I already took Zaven Collins. I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of it a little bit tonight. I locked on to Jabril Cox's last mock. I really don't even need to go there because I already took a linebacker. Oh, boy. That was a mistake potentially, but we still get moved up here to the point where we can get who we want. I've seen Tyson Campbell get mocked very high in some drafts. I've seen him go in the first round a little bit. Outside only cornering sub packages. That's really not. I understand this is their analysis compared to the analysis of some other people who have them going much higher. But I don't feel very great about that. And I want to hit trade just to see what picks I have coming up. I have nothing until the 4th round. All right. Okay, so that means that Elijah Molden will be gone by then, unless I can get back up into the 2nd round again. But 4th round. De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome will be on the board in the 4th round. I'm not desperate to go wide receiver right now, so I can get them later. Or I can just take Amon-Ra St. Brown here and be fine. This is interesting. There's also some interior defensive linemen on the board. Well, I'm not really up on the second level of interior defensive guys on this board. I don't feel great about it. Brevin Jordan's on the board. I've taken him in the past for a couple different teams. I already talked about Campbell. Which Bill Cox I was trying to get, but really doesn't make sense now. I would just overload the linebacking group too much at this point. So I took an edge rusher as well. He's probably a third-round pick. But I might take him here because let me just be honest. There are good enough wide receivers that can get those guys in the fourth round and still have really quality wide receivers. There are not quality corners available beyond round 2. There really aren't. Maybe some guys around 3. Maybe Rodarius Williams will sneak into round 3, round 4, but there's not going to be super quality corners down that low. So I do have some issues with the guys out here. Mike Tyson Campbell, I don't feel great about him. Sean Wade's out there, but I saw him had some really good games and some really bad games. Nickel coverage option. I would just rather go with Elijah Bolden and maybe see if he can transition outside at some point, which I don't think he will. But given the need and everything we've done up to this point, who's going to be available when? It's probably Elijah Bolden or Brevin Jordan being the top options here for drafting guys. Just looking at who's on the board. So, and Javonte Williams, by the way, would be a great pick at 53 for anyone else other than a team that has Saquon Barkley already. So, we're going to pass on those guys. Chad Surratt's on the board, another linebacker I like. Deontay Brown, decent guard, but I'm pretty set here. Like I think I failed. I think I played this the wrong way. I think I played myself a little bit by trading up this many times, but you take what you can get, and that is a reach, by the way. That is absolutely a reach to get Elijah Bolden. Like I say, he's probably a third-round guy, but I can't guarantee. I couldn't guarantee he'd be around by third round. I wasn't even in third round to begin with. Well, I could have traded back. I probably should have, but you know what? I forgot I could have traded back. I'm off tonight, apparently. I am mentally not here, but we're waiting to the fourth round now. See everyone going off the board. I wasn't really watching that closely. Let me pause. Oh, De'Ami Brown just went. Okay, where are we? We're 125. All right, so De'Ami Brown's at the board. That means Daz. Where's Daz? Okay, we were down to Daz is 144. All right, you gotta make it a few more picks. All right. Whew. I thought we weren't going to make it there for a second. I really thought we weren't going to make it. I think Daz is going to be the guy. I'll just look at the board one more time. Jalen Twyman, back running backs, decent safeties. Yeah, Daz is the man here. Daz is the man in the fourth round. Almost didn't make it. And I believe we have one more pick here at 142, and I think that's it for the draft. Twyman would have been a really nice addition had he fallen one more spot. All right, everyone here. Tight end, offensive tackle, quarterback, safety. So that's the needs we're saying. This could be a good pickup, actually. If we're losing Dalvin Tomlinson, this could be a decent pickup here. Yeah, nose tackle, 3-4. That's the perfect fit for the scheme that New York's running. So pick 160 to Darryl Slayton. That's a bit of a reach, but I think we can live with that at this point. It's the last pick for us in the draft. We took corner too early. We didn't take offensive line really at all. We took center, but we didn't take a tackle. But at this point, looking through what's available, still some really good safeties, but we don't really need one of those because we took Xavier McKinney last year. Decent running backs, Ford Basket, Jay Costello. Yeah, we're going to go with the man who fits our scheme. to Darryl Slayton. We had Dalvin Tomlinson replacement in the situation which they don't re-sign Dalvin Tomlinson, and that's how you fix the defensive line to some degree. I mean, we had a linebacker, edge rusher, and nose tackle in that draft, so that's going to help stabilize and keep the defense in a quality position. So that way, because the defense is what helped New York out so much last year. In doing this, we make sure the defense is going to remain strong coming into next season, despite potentially losing guys like Leonard Williams, Dalvin Tomlinson. So, letting everything play out at this point, we're 46 minutes and we're only 2 months now. I thought we'd be able to go a little quicker, but sorry, my voice is going already. I thought we'd be able to go a little bit quicker, but yes, not. I think we'll do one more mock then. For 46 minutes in, we'll do one more mock, and we'll let it play out after that. But we traded all. I can't screenshot this. We traded all over the place, and we did game the system a little bit, just a little bit. But this ends up being our draft pool. It's actually a similar number of picks. I think the same number of picks that we had in the real draft, but this is a much better draft haul than I think the first one was. Although it doesn't fit. It doesn't help out maybe as much as the first one. I think the first one focused more on the needs. I'm just pulling up the first one right now. Yeah, because we had Kyle Pitts in that one, so it helps out the offense a lot. De'Ami Brown, Jarrett Patterson. This time around, Daz Newsome. And we got Landon Dickerson both times, both mocks. The difference being this time I took him at 35. Last time I took him at 43. But I also traded into the first round here to get 2 picks, 2 first-round selections, which is different. So I do like to shake it up a little bit and have different mocks every now and then. It's boring when it's just the same thing over and over. So let's go again one more time. New York. We'll start this, see what trade offers we get. Wow, it's happened again. The receivers all went again. I just saw that. All right, I guess you really have to pay attention here. Otherwise, you're going to sneak one by you. But yeah, all the receivers went. So Chicago first and a third. That's doesn't even make sense for the Niners. A first, a third, a fifth. It's the same thing. No, it's better. All right, I'm going to counter offer here. I want a second. I can give you the second. I move up, then second round. I move back in the first round, but I move up in the second round. I throw that in, do that. We're basically swapping our entire, all of our draft classes here, all of our picks. 1, 2, 3. I'm just counting to see, make sure I'm not messing this up. In a way that could be detrimental to me. All right, we're going to swap our entire draft class with the New York Jets. Damn it, why not? Let's do it. All right, we now have all of New York, all the other New York's picks. Took Caleb Farley. That's a good selection. Whoa. What? Did I not pick New York when I was setting the board up? I thought I did. Why did it pick for me? Well, that's annoying. Is he going to pick for me again? No, it didn't. Why did it do it the first time? I was set up so good then. Dang it. All right. We're going to have to see if we can redo that. That annoyed me. We have pretty decent things set up there, but for whatever reason it's sped by at light speed and past me. But all right, let's see if we can do it again. I'm sure we can. If it worked the first time, it should work the second time. All right. Do you wonder if I want to move up? Let me look. Let me see if I can counter offer this. So I don't, as I said, I don't want to use picks from future drafts because it just doesn't make sense for the purpose of the simulation. Oh, they would do a 1 and 5. Perfect. Could it be this 5? No, it can't be. It has to be this 5. Can I do that and do this? No, they don't. They want this specific trade. Has to be this trade. All right, I will. Yeah, I'll move up. All right, Trey Lance just went off the board at 11. To the New York Jets. That would be an interesting one. Kyle Pitts. All right, so most of the usual suspects here. I think Pitts is absolutely the pick if he's on the board. I find it hard to take anyone else at this spot. Although I could trade back and get Bateman. Yeah, in this situation, I think I would try to trade back and get Bateman because I'm going for someone else other than Zaven Collins and Kyle Pitts at this point. I know Kwity Paye is on the board. I'm just not a huge Kwity Paye fan, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to try to get Rashad Bateman by moving back here. And if that fails, so then we'll come up with it. We'll come up with something on the fly. That makes a lot more sense. Or maybe we just go Terrace Marshall, honestly. We could just do that as well. And I would feel a lot less guilty if we just ended with that. All right, who are we going to trade with? Probably the Colts. I know the Colts need receivers. That maybe is a little risky. But we'll take it slow, and we'll try to trade back with Indy. But in order to do this, you're going to have to give us a 4th and a 7th and a 6th. So we're going to steal all their late round selections, basically. And you'll give me a 3rd, but I'll give you this 3rd, which moves me up 2 spots. I kick a 2nd. I give 4th, 5th, 6th. They don't want to give they don't want to give everyone the draft pick, so I'll do this. And if it's green, it basically means it's going to go through. So I feel pretty confident this offer is going to be accepted. Yeah, that's probably my biggest issue with this simulations is sometimes the trades are a little bit. Oh, Bateman went to New England. Oh, I was gonna say that's my only issue. Sometimes the trades are a little bit wonky. I was also looking at JC Horn, but the Colts ended up taking him. So I really want to make a pick now. I don't want to trade back again. You gotta be kidding me. It took Terrace Marshall. That was the one guy who I really thought I could just take and be safe with. Oh my gosh, they really did that. Son of a gun. All right, well, I guess we're doing Zaven Collins again. I guess this is what we're doing. We're doing the same pick all over again. Ah, man. Yeah, I don't want to trade back too far again. Zaven Collins is worth it here. So I don't want to go back 20 spots. I'd be willing to counteroffer here if I got more. So I go 2, 6, the 7th, and I can get a 7th, a 5th, a 4th. That's probably not enough. I want another 7th in there. And I'll move back for that. They denied that trade offer, really. All right. Remove all these. All right. I will give. I want this 5th rounder for this 5th rounder. 7th rounder. I want a 7th rounder return. That's not gonna work. They're not making themselves very swindleable, or however you want to say it. I can't swindle them as easily as I would. All right, so a 2nd and a 6th for a 2nd and a 4th. Yeah, that's about as likely as I'm going to go, as good as I'm going to get probably at this point. I denied again. They're giving me problems. I'll give you a 7th, fine. We'll make it very likely. I don't really need that 7th anyways, but we'll just... Yay. Deal done. I can move up now for a... I'm just going to wait. New York. No, it's not enough spots to move up to make that trade. All right, that's an interesting one. This is also an interesting one. Oh, but they're back at 64. I don't want to go that far down. This one? No. Again, they're very set on the one particular trade they want. Wait. All right, fine. That makes sense to me. I'm willing to do this for whatever broken reason, but I'll do it. So now New York has all the mid-round picks they can possibly want. It just picked for me again. Oh my God, why does it do that? Oh my God. Whatever. That annoys me. I have to start pausing every time after I go do a trade. So whenever I don't pause, it's jumping so quickly that it jumps right past me for whatever reason. And that's not a bad pickup. It forces my hand to make that selection. I don't love it, but for 50 overall, Jason always not a bad pickup. I've seen mocks have him going in the 1st round, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not what I would have done either. I don't really want to move up that far. Well, I don't need to move up that far. Unless I really want to land Roderick Dickerson. That would have been the reason why I would have moved up. All right, we got tight end here. We can fix that immediately. Wide receiver, before I talked about at this point. Oh, Elijah Moore is not bad, though. Elijah Moore would be a decent. I don't know. I like Elijah Moore. They're not too hyped about him here in the description, but I do like Elijah Moore. Corner. Picked over again. Jabril Cox and Chad Surratt. I like both those guys. But we took linebacker right in the 1st round. So remember that. We already took a linebacker. Interior offensive line. It's a guard available. Deontay Brown is pretty good. More of a run blocking guy, if I remember correctly. This is throwing me off now that they made that pick. Because I would have taken a center there, and that would have opened up a lot of different routes to go with. Pick again 81, pick again 84. All right, so we've got a linebacker, we got an edge rusher, we need corner, we need wide receiver. Those are the 2 spots we have to fill before this draft is over. Pat Freiermuth, I think that's how you say his last name. Pat Freiermuth is the 2nd best tight end in this draft. I think it's by far. I don't think there's anyone close to him 2nd overall. If we're talking about tight end needs, if we're talking about running a 2 tight end offense, put him and Evan Ingram on the field at the same time. Now, the question is, he doesn't have the same versatility as Kyle Pitts, so how much of he's not really a big wide receiver. I don't think Pat Freiermuth is compared to a Kyle Pitts, who really is. I think Pitts weighs almost the same. But, I mean, for 66 overall in the third round, that's a really good pick. So I am going to make the selection because it's the second best tight end on the board. I do have my concerns about Evan Ingram, so yeah, why not? We'll stack the offense a little bit. We already went defense twice. Might as well help the offense out a little bit. All right. Brevin Jordan. I could have got Brevin Jordan on the spot. Probably would have just been just as good value, maybe even better. But at this point, taking Elijah Molden would make a lot of sense because of where we are in the draft. And at 84, maybe trade back a little bit and get Daz Newsome or De'Ami Brown again. Or we could go Amari Rodgers, but Amari Rodgers to me is more of a slot guy. He's not going to be primary slot receiver. So I don't think that you want to take a slot receiver this high. And guys like De'Ami Brown, I like him. I like De'Ami Brown more than I like some of the guys at top. I mean, Amari Rodgers, to me, is much closer to maybe more athletic than Hunter Renfrow, but him and Renfrow, I think Renfrow was a 4th or 5th round pick. I think that's more the range where someone like Amari Rodgers, who's going to primarily be a slot receiver, should go. So I do like Amari Rodgers quite a bit. I just think that taking him in the third round at this point would be rough. It wouldn't be the best pick possible. You got Sage Surratt, De'Ami Brown, Daz Newsome will be available later in the draft. And even guys like Elijah Moore, I think I can get later. Elijah Molden, I know it's a similar thing. It's a slot corner, but I don't think you could get Elijah Molden later in the draft. I just don't think it will happen. Also, some very good safeties available, but again, safety's not in position to meet. That's actually a decent strength right now for New York. With Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, and then they have Xavier McKinney, obviously. So that's not an immediate concern there. I would actually be tempted to take a decent backup running back here just because I literally like drafting running backs, but I recognize it's probably not the best bang for your buck kind of thing. Jackson Carman, that would be an interesting one. I think he's a guard. I think he could play right tackle. But there are guys down here like Walker Little a little bit farther down who really want to go offensive tackle. We could get him. It wouldn't be as bad. James Hudson up here at 64 is more of a developmental guy. We'll go Elijah Molden here, though, just to make sure no one else can get him. Elijah Moore, James Hudson, guys we were just talking about, go off the board. But now wide receiver is a concern. We don't really need to get one until later in the draft. Unless Tylan Wallace, if we really look at Tylan Wallace, well, I don't know a lot about this guy. I'll fully admit that. But if they're projecting him to be a starting level receiver in the NFL, that'd be an upgrade over what we're going to look at potentially in later rounds and guys like Daz Newsome. And he's been fairly consistent at Oklahoma State. A little bit of drop off in production the past 2 years. 6 foot, 190 pounds. I don't know. I really kind of want to move back here a little bit. That's what I'm thinking about. Because moving back would help out quite a bit. I still like Daz Newsome and De'Ami Brown enough that I can trade back here. I understand that maybe I'm making a dumb decision here. Maybe I'm missing on a guy like Tylan Wallace, who would be a big-time playmaker. I do have to make sure I'll look at him more. I know a lot about the rest of these guys on the board, but for some reason, Tylan Wallace has not been someone I'm very familiar with. But where do we want to move back to is the question. I want to look at linebackers that are available. Jabril Cox is on the board. All right. Hear me out. This is where it becomes interesting. Double up on the linebackers. Because he can play man coverage. 4-3 fit, though. It's not a good scheme fit for this guy. I really like him, though. I really think we could double up on linebackers here. Where am I picking next? I just had to see what picks I have. 84, 105, 106, 125. Okay, so a lot consecutively. We can get Daz there. We might be able to get De'Ami Brown there. All right. A quick sweep of the board. I'm spending way too much time on this selection right now. I'm rambling on. I need to get through this one pick. It's going to make a huge difference if I trade back here versus sticking here. I'm going to take the best player on the board. I'll trade back. I'll try to trade back a few picks. If he's still on the board, then we'll go from there. But oh boy, how do I get past? There we go. I'll try to trade back with Cleveland. So a 6th and a 5th. Nah, I mean, those are pretty good picks. I should be able to get. All right, well, how about. So I'm moving back quite a few spots at the end of the draft. No, I don't like that. All right, so not Cleveland. What about Detroit? Will Detroit play ball? Detroit doesn't have a lot to give. And they're not going to be willing to give it. I can move back 4 spots to move up 4 spots. Shots later in the draft, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me to make a move like that. This is a tough decision. This is like the real decision where I get right freeze up here is Jabril Cox. Hey, what's up? What's up, Raphael? How you doing? That was 9:47. That was 6 minutes ago. I missed him. Dang it. All right. What am I going to do? I guess I'm just going to pass on him. Let's see. I'll pick someone else. Who do I want to move back with? Who probably wants to move up? The Rams. The Rams probably want to move up. They've traded a lot of picks away. So I'll offer 6th. I'm going to want a 4th. I'm going to want a 3rd. And a 4th. Now, they're not going to be able to do that, but I'll give them a 5th. All right, so 6th, 5th, and 3rd for a 3rd, for 2 thirds and a 4th. All right, we're going to get so many middle round picks here. It's going to be fantastic. I have to remember to pause this immediately coming out because it speeds by for whatever reason. There goes Jabril Cox. I'm still not sure if I made the right call on that one. I probably did, but all right. Wide receiver time. Amari Rodgers. I'm going to take De'Ami Brown. Just get him off the board. He is 6'1", 195. Daz is Daz is about the same size. I do really like Daz, though. And Amari Rodgers has packed some punch. He does with 211. I think some guys have jokingly talked about giving him some chances at running back just to see if he can line up multiple spots and just see his versatility. Which, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. I think you could actually probably do that. Marvin Wilson is available, though. 4-3 tag. Yeah. We're running a 3-4, so we need some guy who's not going to need to line up in a different formation to get the most out of his potential. All right, what about corners? Anyone that's going to jump off the board? No one in particular. Walker Little. I can get Walker Little. That'd be a decent pickup. Or I could just take Amari Rodgers right here. And that'd be a good fit. I like Amari Rodgers here. It'd be a nice pick, actually. You can get Walker Little from the next pick. I think that probably would be the move. And then maybe Jalen Twyman. Interior pass rusher. I don't know. I would still take a chance on Twyman if we have to go that late. Him and Marvin Wilson are both problematic, but high-end potential. Of course, I could just hold out and take Darryl Slayton at 160, which I think would also be a move. It would help out quite a bit. All right, focus. I'm losing focus. I'm getting very tired here, guys. Amari Rodgers. All right. Walker Little. I didn't draft. That's right. I didn't draft a center. That's the one thing I didn't do this mock that I've been doing every other mock. All right, who's here? And Cleveland, I know, is a decent pick. Power running scheme would be ideal. Role player could develop into starter. I think you can be primarily a running team if you have Saquon Barkley back if you're the Giants, because Daniel Jones is not going to be throwing the ball left and right the way things are going right now. But Ben Cleveland would be a little early for him. Right now, I just took Amari Rodgers. What was I talking about a second ago? Wait, what was I saying a second ago? Right, Twyman. There are really good safeties on the board here. It'd be very tricky to not take at least one safety in this mess. Hunter Long on the board is pretty nice as well. But we already took a tight end here, so it's no point. $319, he packs a punch. This has been a much better fit, though. Alim McNeil, I don't know how you say that name. It's a much better fit for what we're trying to do. 315 pounds, so good weight. Yeah, why not? I think that would probably fit. We get linebacker, edge rusher, and interior defensive lineman, then really help the defense out. All right, we'll go here. And looking at who is available at this point, who we really want. Because we have so many picks here in the middle of the draft, we can kind of pick at this point who we want versus who we need. You know what I'm saying? We kind of have that option to go for a want, someone who just stands out, a very good-looking player. Is Gainwell still on the board? Yeah, if getting Gainwell on the board here is pretty hard to pass up, actually. Him and Trey Sermon. Which one do I want, though? For New York, I mean, you have Saquon Barkley, who's the bell cow. You can do a little bit of everything. Kenneth Gainwell is kind of a receiver kind of back. He's different than Barkley. I think that's what makes it enticing, because he's a different kind of back. And that difference maker quality is going to make it hard to both of them. So it's between him and Sermon real for me. I know Chuba Hubbard's on the board, but I think people are kind of over him a little bit at this point. I think the hype for him has died down significantly since last year. And for reasons. It's not just because he played poorly. There are other reasons why. All right, this is going to probably be a dumb decision, but I'm going Kenneth Gainwell here, top of the 4th round. Get a backup running back who can play a little bit receiver. I mean, he's got really good hands too. He's newer to the running back position as well, so it's not like he's been here forever. There's a lot of upside there. Now, I just want to see what picks I have left here real quick. I've got 125, 138, 154, so a lot of picks here in the middle. I really do want to get Walker Little, or Ben Cleveland, actually. Walker Little on the board is an interesting one. Eventual starting left tackle, but you don't need a left tackle. I like Walker Little because he's really good quality in a late round pick or a mid round pick. But you really don't need him here. I think Ben Cleveland's a better fit. Because you do need some depth in the interior, a little bit of help somewhere along the line. But you just took Shane Lemieux, last year. So I guess the need really is at center, and I don't know pure center wise. I don't recognize many names down here who would be a pure center, except for the guy I just clicked on, Drake Jackson. All right. Let's see if we can trade back then. If we're going to get Drake Jackson, let's trade back and get him. Let's do it with the Texans at 120. See if we can save a little bit of draft capital and get some back. They're really not interested. All right, they don't care about moving up at this point. I can't really blame them. It's so late in the draft at this point. It doesn't make a huge difference, I think. Maybe Dallas. Maybe Dallas is – Jerry Jones is the kind of guy who'd be really enticed by something like this. Let's see if we can trick Dallas into making a move. All right, so we get another 4. We get 139. We traded 154 to them. Yeah. Hopefully they accept. No, they denied it. I can't. Well, you know what? I said I wasn't going to include picks from future drafts, but I'm just going to include a 7th round here just to grease the wheels because I'm tired. I want to go to bed, and I want this trade to happen. Why? Why are you being difficult? Stop it. Just accept it. Oh my gosh, Dallas. This is offer acceptance very likely. Why is this failing? All right. My patience is up. Where do I pick you? Where do I pick again next? 125, 138. I'll still be able to get Drake Jackson at that point. So we're going to take whoever we want here. All right, so tight ends draft. It's tackle. I know Darius Washington's a guy that a lot of people have in like the first round in some drafts. So I'm going to take him here just because he's great value. I know the safety position is pretty good in New York already, but like I said, there's value. Actually, no. Maybe not. Maybe not. 1 second, guys. I'm going to tab out here real quick because I want to check one thing very quickly. I think I know what I'm looking at here. But I want to make sure I'm not wrong. All right, looking through it real quick. All right. I think corner's the bigger need here. Rodarius Williams, who's got some relatives in the NFL. I think that's a solid pickup. And like I said, the safety position is really taken care of because you've got Jabril Peppers, Logan Ryan, and Xavier McKinney back there. You also have Julian Love. So you have guys at safety. You don't really need to add another one to the mix. Even though I'm not in love with that selection I just made. All right, all the safeties I was talking about are gone now. Ben Cleveland, I thought that was what I was talking about for a second. Ben Cleveland's gone. All right, this is going to be a reach, but I just want to get it done. This is a starting caliber center, or a center who could eventually be a starter if we really need him to. It's a backup for the center spot, so all I care is that you fortify that position on the line. All right, look at the board. I think Daz Newsom's still going to be available. And if he is, you know where I'm going to go. All these guys are 4-3, so it's kind of. Or there's Washington still on the board. That would be. I almost picked him a second ago, but wide receivers with bigger need than safety at the moment. Daz is on the board. I think Daz is the pick. Even though there might be a bit too much overlap at the receiver position now because there are maybe too many slot guys on the team. May that be a concern. Maybe that's why you don't take Daz Newsome in that spot. But I don't know. What do you want me to do? And Walker Little is still available. All right. Well, I've talked up Walker Little the entire night to some degree. I've said this is a guy I've looked at a couple times now. I've almost taken. Now's the time to take him. All right, I think we're done for this mock. I think that was our last pick, I'm pretty sure. I don't think we have any 6-rounders, so now we just sit back and let everything go by itself. Oh, what a mess of a final mock. I burned through so much battery on my computer, and I'm so tired. I had so much energy the first mock. Now I'm just exhausted. I just want this to be done. Where are we going on? An hour and 21 minutes. All right. Fantastic. I do like this haul, though. I mean, we've got a ton of players. I'm absolutely abusing the trade simulator here, but not very realistic to some extent. But you know what? Work what you got, and this is what we got. We had a lot of trades that really helped out the Giants here. Built a ton of depth up. So again, I probably reached in a couple picks here, but I still feel solid about the overall haul because, I mean, look at it. It's massive. We had so much stuff out of this one draft to really help rebuild. Well, not rebuild the Giants, help them retool. Because they're already a decent football team. It's the retooling that's the key. Making sure you get better and don't drop off here by potentially losing some free agents or something like that. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it here. As I said, I'm very tired. I am going to post on Twitter the results from these various mock drafts, and I will leave links in the description of this video once I get back to it, once I make sure I can edit the video description, which is going to be a little bit, but I will get back to it. I will make sure I get those links in. You can follow me on Twitter at Sam_Heats33. You can also check out all my sports articles and mock drafts on thegrueltruth.com. The link to all my articles is also in the description. So if you find anything or see anything you like, if you enjoyed this video to some extent, I promise my writing is much better than my actual speaking in this situation. I get to mumble and ramble a little bit too much when I'm doing live streams like this, and it's just me. But thank you for tuning in. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow with another mock draft. I don't know who I'll do. Probably pick a pretty popular team. Usually those are the ones who do the best view-wise. But anyway, guys, thank you. I said again. I'll talk to you all